Welcome back to the Viper Miner channel. Today I want to go over a couple things I've been seeing in the crypto world, and the most important thing I've seen the last couple days is this announcement. So if you mine on Ethermine, which is one of the largest mining pools out there for ETH, they've basically said, come the 15th, and they don't put a time. I mean, I guess whenever, if you look at their dashboard, if they might give you the actual minutes. So my personal opinion is I would stop and cash out before the 14th. And this is why. So they're going to turn off their servers, which is fine. It's their servers. So they're going to turn them down. They're going to shut them down, and you'll no longer be able to connect. That means your final unpaid balance. So in order to receive your final payment of your unpaid balance, it will be possible to trigger a manual payout on your individual dashboard page. Okay. It's possible to request a manual payout if your unpaid balance exceeds 0.005, right? For manual payouts, the transaction fee will be deducted from your unpaid balance. Here's the key. Because manual unpaid balance triggers are on mainnet. So if you're using the Polygon network, where it's cheap gas fees, not a big deal. But mainnet, you're going to lose. You may not even have enough to cash out, and they're just going to keep your coin at that point, right? So, and I don't know what the price is this second. By the way, for reference, it is August 22nd, and we're still mining ETH, but the time is ticking away. It was about 3 weeks, 2 days or so, if I just did that right in my head. So 0.005. So $8. Hey, it's a cup of coffee. I'm not going to give it to them. I'm going to make sure it's there. Now, I am no longer mining on Ethermine, and this is not the reason. I actually stopped a couple of days ago. So this is a moot point for me, but all those who are still using Ethermine, beware. So that's a biggie, I think, that you got to keep in the back of your mind here as we approach the date. And then here's the other biggie. And I've been going around trying to confirm this. I haven't seen any data actually coming out of AWS, and I've found it in different locations. But it looks like Amazon has 53% of the nodes for POS for ETH. Right? So crypto portal, and I haven't gone to this. One study showed that 2/3 of the 65% of Ether nodes located in central data centers. So 65% of the ETH nodes are in centralized data centers. So keyword centralized, not decentralized, right? Major provider web service, thus, I don't know how you pronounce it, Address. I believe this is in Canada. Is that where that big outage came out of? Was that Canada, or was that Canada had a big outage. I don't know if that was like their equivalent AWS, or if that was their internet. It was out for days. And then AWS, which is, Amazon, counts for 69% of the nodes. 69% of the nodes. It goes on somewhere. It actually goes on and tells you how much Amazon's got. This is the other scary part, guys. 95% hosted on is Solana. I mean, no wonder they got problems, right? Was it on the other article? It's basically the same article, actually. Oh, here we go. Amazon combined shares, 53.7%. Amazon's 53.7. That's not decentralized anymore, guys. That's centralized. That's a risk. That's bad. 52%. All nodes centralized. This is bad. I'm going to click on this, see what this gives us. Oh, it's a Twitter. Oh, they got a little graph here. This is kind of nice. It's the first time I'm seeing this. So, um, 3 cloud providers, 2/3 of the ETH and Sol. Wow, this is scary, guys. This is very scary. This is not safe, right? Something happens to AWS. I don't know. Amazon gets ticked off at the developers and they shut down all the nodes. I mean, they get hacked. They get who knows what happens. They have a big service interruption that goes for days. I mean, even just think about it. Even just for an hour, what that would do, right? So, not what crypto was supposed to be about. I'm kind of disappointed. I've been disappointed in ETH now for a while, and to be full disclosure, I have been selling off my ETH, and I will own 0 ETH in my wallets as I approach the 15th. In fact, I mentioned earlier that I'm no longer mining on Ether miners because I'm actually on 2 miners and I'm being paid out in Bitcoin. So, and I will stop mining ETH on the 14th for what I have mining on ETH. I have been spreading my my rigs around, testing cards and testing overclocks to make sure that I can hit the ground running. And I don't trust. There is so much unknown, and again, no one's communicated how are the smart contracts, how the apps and the NFTs, OpenSea, have they been allowed to test and make sure this is all going to work, right? And it is, hey, once they cut, they cut. That's it. And I personally, I think most of the capital of ETH is in the founders' hands, and so they don't care. They got their ETH and they're going to keep it, and they're probably, who knows what they're doing with it. I can't speculate, don't want to, but it makes me very nervous. So I will not be holding ETH. So what I am doing and what I want to talk about too is, so where do you go, right? So let's look at what to mine here, and clearly I've been messing around here a little bit. Oh, let's go back here. Yep. Okay, so if you look at, and I've been looking at some 2060s, right? I got a acquaintance that has got a bunch of these that he was gonna deploy, never did. They're still in the boxes. He's just looking to sell them dirt cheap. So I may pick them up. If we use, I think 0.14 is the kind of the national average now. And to be honest with you, the rates are all over the place in the country, depending where you're at. So, and if you have solar or not, that all is going to matter on what this cost is here for you. So plug in your own number here, and be brutally honest with yourself. And so, depending on what kind of where you're at in the country and what kind of service you have, so like some you can break apart, some you can't. For instance, I cannot. So Duke Energy just screws you something fierce, and so I will be paying. I always pay more than I think I should be, even though I have solar. But the key here is, what you want to do is, normally this is defaults to, I believe, 7 or 3 days profitability and 7 and 3 days average revenue. I moved it to 24, and I play around and I look at even current value, and I want to know what right now what these numbers are, right? So if I look at 8 2060s and I hit calculate, you'll be surprised what shows up. ETH is not showing up anymore. And I don't know what this is, or this complex. Now, if you say this, if I'm saying it wrong, apologize. Nox. This is bubbled up to in the top 5 almost for every card now. My only problem with this coin is that one, it's on Cowpile, so it's going to generate a lot of heat. Second, the exchanges are not, there's only 2 that I know of. One I've never even heard of, and the other one's Trade Ogre. And so you're limited in the United States, at least, where you can go. And Trade Ogre, I believe you could trade against and get into LTC with this. But I've never really used Trade Ogre. I have an account there. I have multiple accounts across multiple exchanges ready to go just in case for something like this, in case I wanted to jump on the wagon for something. But I may dual mine this at one point, but I'm not going to even mine Ravencoin after post ETH because the heat is just too much. Here in Florida, it's just way too much. I tried doing it earlier. I would schedule my flight sheets and switch the flight sheet to Ravencoin at night. I tried 10 o'clock at night. I tried 12 o'clock at night. And, before the sun goes up, be back out of it. I'd be hitting 120, 122 degrees in my mining room. Just too hot. So I decided that's going to be maybe mid-October, late October, early November timeframe here. I won't get much time to mine here in Florida, Ravencoin, but you can dual mine this as well, but it's still going to produce that much heat. So you're going to be using the core and the memory then, and at that point. But Flux is showing some strength. Ravencoin's down here, and Firo, and then ERGO's here. Now this is 2060s, right? So this is really that's a Flux card and an ETH card, to be honest with you. ETH is all the way down here. Also notice all the ET hash are down here, all of them. Okay, and I'll explain why. So let's look at something that's let's look at the 3070s. Let's jump up a generation. 3070s, just straight 3070s. Do a rig of 8. Hit calculate. Remember, we're still on current revenue and current values. And so ETH is back on top, but ETH's going away. So I wish you can actually turn off different algorithms. Ycash is still here. I don't know what that is. I won't mine it if I don't know what it is. Complex, ERGO. Again, so back here. ERGO, looking good. I can get 102 coins. I mean, the fiat's 304. My cost is 104 for electric, 199 if I'm paying 14 cents. Don't be jealous, but that's mine. So 60 bucks in power for that rig. Not too bad. But ERGO is what I like about ERGO is ERGO's built from the ground up. I've read their white paper twice, top to bottom. Try to get as much information about ERGO. ERGO is my top, it is my top in my top 3 right now. So ERGO is right there. And then if you look at Flux, get rid of all those nice hash stuff. So here's Flux, and Flux is number 2 in my list right now. And so if you got 14 cents power, 145 in power, 122 in bonus, 368 in coin, brings you to 313 fiat at today's values. Now, and I'd have to do the math, and it's getting late, and I don't feel like doing math right now. I don't know if the bonus is in here. I don't even know how to cash out the bonus. I haven't gotten that far yet. I just like what Flux is doing, how they got their nodes, their apps, and everything else. And that's the other thing too. So if I mentioned it already, I don't remember. But if you are going to run a node, make sure that if you do a Cumulus node, which is 1,000 coin, make sure that your internet connection is 50 megabytes up, not down, up. Most cable companies love to advertise that down rate. That's the data packets coming down into your computer, into your modem. That's not what you need. You need 50 going up, and that's usually very little. So like, for instance, Spectrum out here, will advertise 200 megabytes down, and they don't tell you what the up is. You have to like prod them to get the up speed, but the up speed's like under 10, so you wouldn't be able to run a flux node, okay? And you'd be wasting your money and time and electricity. Now, let's look at 3080s. And the reason why I'm going to look at 3080s is because I have several rigs of 3080s. But let's look at the 3080s, and I want to point out something here real quick, guys. So, because we looked at a 3070 versus 3080, you're just getting a little more horsepower. So the algorithms are basically similar. You're just going to make a little more coin, right? Boom, boom, boom. Fero flux is down here. The 38 does not do the flux as well as it should, I think. But here's ETC. ETC, current difficulty is 5 quadrillion, whatever that is, number. It's insane how high this went up. So Stargazer, one of my rigs, is 8 3080s running on Windows. It's only making $116 in fiat now. It was 3 times that a week and a half ago. It was 3 times the amount of coin I was getting. This is insane. And it's because the ASICs are moving over. So especially, and you saw this happen when the ETH DAG went from 4 to 5 gigabytes. That knocked off a lot of miners, a lot of ASIC miners. Okay, so, and I don't know of any GPU cards that have 5 gig. So pretty much that'd be 6 gig would be the next increment there from 4 to 6. But there's a lot of the AC10. It was Insynic's 10s went offline. A lot of the Jazz miners went offline for a while. If you have the lower end Jazz miner, that can't mine ETH anymore. It has to come over to ETH hash, ETC, and the higher end Jazz miner has, and depending on what revision you have, if you have the later revision, you may be able to make it to the finish line. Otherwise, you may not. It's like 5.1 gig and then 5.2, and I think the latest has got 5.6. Somebody was telling me in Discord that's what they've got. I don't have a Jazz miner. I just didn't see it being worth it. To be honest with you, that's my personal opinion. But ETC from a GPU standpoint is not going to be your friend. Not now. It's got backing. It's got some, what would it get? 10 million from Antminer, and others. There's a hedge fund looking into them. Again, another hedge fund looking at them. So there's money coming in there, so they can get a development team a little bit more robust. If they can get some smart contracts, some dApps on there, that'd be great. And then I think you'll get price discovery, and then maybe the GPUs can come back. It'll be maybe, I don't think it'll be as good as ETH, but it might be. More it's profitable, right? So if I had 3080s, I'm only getting 784 mega hash, which is pretty good, right? Almost, I'd say that's 2,000 in power, because it does fluctuate, especially the 3080s. If they're LHR cards, they do fluctuate in power. But I'm not making what I had. So now let's say that I was going to try to do something in ETC. The cheapest way I found you can go do this is Dipolar Mini. And I did reach out to them today and verified if you were to buy one today, it would have the new firmware installed already to mine the ETC and all the other coins on that algorithm. If you got an older revision, you'll have to do the downgrade, and you just chat them, and they'll send you a link for the firmware downgrade or upgrade on that downgrade. But and you can get in there. So if you look at this is 300 mega hash, 240, and the person I was talking to said that should be the thing you're getting on ETC. I don't have one to verify, but so let's say we did do that. That'd be 300 and 240. Calculate. You wouldn't even make money on that. Yesterday when I looked at this, you had made money. Did I do something wrong? 300 mega hash? No. That looks right. And I got the power rate wrong. It should be 4. Oops. Let's make sure I don't have any. Oh, you know what? I was playing around with this. So this is if difficulty went 5 times. 5x from here. So let's go back to the screen. Sorry guys, had the wrong screen. I was going to show you guys that. So we went back to 300, 240. Calculate. You do make some money. You get $95 in fiat, 3.4 in coin. Now remember, my 8 rig of 3080s got 9 point something. 3. So that's about right? But I'm paying $2,100, $2,699 actually, and then I saw that they got their edition here, which I don't know. It ships on. It is shipping already. It's at $2,290. So $2,300 for 300 megabytes. Now it's efficient as heck. Absolutely, 300 for 240 in watts. Absolutely, you can run that off a solar panel easily, right? But I don't think it's worth it. Personally, I don't think it's worth it. I think you're better off going in and looking at another coin. And the one thing you have to remember too is when you put this on current revenue, because the price is constantly changing, this is constantly going to change as well. It's going to keep going up and down. So it's good to look at it from current revenue, but then if you're going to like try to figure out some numbers, try to go to 24. The problem is if you do 3 days and 7 days as the average, things are changing so fast that may not hold true when you're running your numbers. So do yourself a favor, look at those two numbers, 24 and current value. So I can hodl a lot more ERGO, and I can hodl a lot more NIX. I can hodl a lot more Flux, Ravencoin, Cero, Bitcoin Gold, I guess, Pharaoh, and then I can, and even Beams down here. It's just not worth trying to do ETC on any of the algorithms because all those ASICs run on those algorithms. It's all the same algorithm, so they can switch it. And if I had an ASIC farm and that's all I can do, I would be trying to hodl ETC and everything else going with it. And I bet you probably could have, if you could have some real-time charting, I bet you had seen ETC spike, in difficulty and hash rate, and then you might have seen, another ETC coin go, and then another ETC coin go as they were going and it's trying to, grab as much as they can. It's kind of like you want to be the first person out with a product, first mover, and that's kind of how this is going. All right, guys. So this is I'm losing my voice, and this is kind of like how I want to leave the video. If you can please subscribe, hit the like button, greatly appreciate it. I am trying to grow the channel. If you have any questions or suggestion and content, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do some research for you and go from there. Don't forget to make sure that your pools, whatever pool, and this is just ETH, but everybody's going to be turning off and make sure that you're not leaving ETH behind for somebody else, right? You earned it. You spent the money on the equipment. You spent the money in electricity. Make sure you get every penny out of it. All right, guys, be safe, be profitable as much as you can, and have a great evening.